Hello everyone. In this video we're going to continue with the issue of the moving platform that came up at the very end of the previous video introducing us to animations. Essentially, the issue was that our Chivolo guy, we can hop onto the platform and we can go up. It's kind of rough, but we can go up. But as soon as we go horizontal, we just slide off, which is not good. The solution is to make the Chivolo guy temporarily a child of the moving platform only when Chivolo guy comes into contact with the moving platform. But to do that, we need to do some scripting, and before we can do some scripting, we have to do some prep work. So first of all, we go to our box collider component here for the moving platform inspector. We're going to check off is trigger, and we're going to test this out really quick. What should happen is, let's see, yeah, we can no longer even come into contact with the platform, which seems counterintuitive, but it's part of the process. So we're going to uncheck that for now. We're going to go to our three dots here. We're going to copy component. Then we are going to paste as new. And we should have a second box collider down here. I'm going to move it up just for organization purposes. So we have two box colliders, exactly the same copies of each other. One of them we're going to check off the is trigger, and one of them we're not. And for the collider that has the is trigger, we're going to go ahead and move the actual invisible the invisible collider here up a little bit. That way Chivolo guy will always anytime he jumps onto the platform, will always come in contact with the trigger first before actually before actually coming in contact with the collider for the moving platform itself. So two colliders, one of them is a trigger, and one of them is the actual collider for the platform that works as intended. We still slide off, but that is the prep work. The prep work is now done. We can go to my scripts, and from here we can create a brand new script. So let's go to create C# script. We're going to call this platform trigger. And again, we have a nice blank, decent little template script here. We cannot edit it within Unity. We have to open it up in a text editor, in this case, Visual Studio. I'm going to give that a second to open up. All right. Now, this script is not mine, so at the very beginning here, I'm just going to copy-paste this little note I have that lets me know where I got this script from this video here. So wonderful. If I ever need to reference the video because I did something wrong or because it's not working as intended, I can just very quickly click the link right from here inside my inside Visual Studio as soon as I open up the script. So wonderful. All right, let's go through what this is going to be. Under our public class, we are going to type in public game object, and this is going to be called player. This statement here declares a public game object to assign character to the script. So anytime we have any kind of situation where, let me just open Unity again real quick. Anytime we have any kind of a situation where we can assign something in the inspector, that comes from these kinds of statements, this public game object player. So we're going to have a little box in Unity that's called player, and from there we can plug in the Chivolo guy character as soon as we actually make this, as soon as we actually finish working with this with the script here. So we have that. This void start and void update we don't actually need for this script, so I'm going to go ahead and erase them. And what we do need instead is a private void on trigger enter collider, other, and this piece of the code here is going to happen. This chunk triggers when player makes contact with platform is trigger. So when the character makes contact with this green here that you can kind of barely see, when the character makes contact with this green here, this chunk of the code that I'm going to write now is going to happen. So let's see. It's going to be if other dot game object yeah, tap equals player. That's what I want. Then player dot transform dot parent equals transform. Yeah, that's what I want. And this line here means that the player becomes the child of the object, i.e. Shivolo guy will become the child of the will become the child of the moving platform. And now we need to do one more private void on trigger exit. So private void on trigger exit. And this is also collider other. And this chunk will happen. This chunk triggers when character no longer in contact with is trigger. And this chunk is going to be almost exactly the same. So once again, we're going to just copy paste this if statement here because it's going to be exactly the same. Waiting for the editor to finish. Gonna give that a second. There we go. Let's copy paste that. If this time we're gonna have player.transform.parent equals transform. And instead of transform, we're going to replace that with null. And this essentially means separates player from object. Player no longer a child. And that, I believe, is that. I don't need anything else, do I? Nope, I think that covers it. You'll notice that all throughout this code I've been writing little notes to myself. It is good practice to write as many notes as possible. When as many, common sense notes as possible, I should say. You don't want to overflow this with just notes that don't make sense, but as many notes as make sense for your code so that people that don't do programming can follow along with whatever you write up here. So wonderful. We have this. Let's exit. Let's save. The platform trigger should automatically update. If we go to the inspector, everything that we wrote is there. Excellent. Let's now go to the moving platform. I'm going to lock that in for a second. I'm going to apply this platform trigger here. There it is, my platform trigger script. As I explained before, the player is something that we can attach, so we're going to attach the Shivolo guy to the game object here. And now, if we play the scene, it should work. Ideally, I hope it works. Let's see. We go up. We follow along. We can jump off. and we're not moving anymore with the platform there. We can jump back on if we want to. Wonderful. So let's go over what's actually happening. We have the hierarchy here, so we can properly touch upon what's going on at every moment. We start. Chevolo Guy and moving platform are separate objects. We jump on and come into contact with the trigger. Chevolo Guy becomes the child of the moving platform, allowing us to move with the platform as it makes sense. We can jump off, and suddenly Chevolo Guy is no longer the child of the moving platform, as you can see. We can wait for the platform to come back, we can jump back on, and Chevolo Guy again becomes the child of the moving platform, allowing us to not fall off, which is good. Alright, real quick, anything else that I want to cover? In the Game tab, we can select Play Focused, Play Maximized, or Play Play Unfocused. Play Focused allows us to play test our scenes within the engine while able to see the hierarchy and the inspector and the project panel. If we play Maximized, let's play Maximized, then we are no longer able to see that stuff. And if we play Unfocused, actually I don't know what Unfocused does. Let's see what Unfocused does. Unfocused seems to be almost the same as Focus, except honestly, I don't know what the difference is between Focused and Unfocused. I would recommend you just go back and forth between Play Focused and Play Maximized. Play Focused is ideal because you can still see the hierarchy and the inspector and the project panel as you play test your scenes. Okay, quick cut, everybody. I went ahead and added some more animations to the moving platform, so let's preview that real quick. It still rises up exactly as it did before, but now it's going to do a little bit of rotating, as you can see. A little bit of rotating. And then it's going to do a little flip. Now, Chevolo Guy is going to be perfectly capable of hanging on to this platform for the entire ride, which is great. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at that before I explain what to do if your character doesn't for some reason. Still getting this weird jank here, and we're going to be able to fix that in a second as well. But as you can see, Chevolo Guy, as we saw from the demo level a few weeks ago, is perfectly capable of hanging on to two platforms like this, so that's good to know. And when we flip, Chevolo Guy should also be capable of just still hanging on. Now, if for some reason you find that your character can't hang on to a platform when it does that and you want them to, basically just select the platform that's moving, go to the animator component that we created when we first created the animation, and we want to go to update mode for the animator component, and we want to select animate physics. And now, no matter what character you're using, this should work. So let's see. And in fact, not only will it work, but that little weird jankiness that we had when the platform was moving up is now gone. So animate physics is a good thing to turn on when you're intending for characters to hop onto moving platforms as such. So to prove that this still works with other characters, I went ahead and just brought in the first-person character controller that we made in week 3. It's going to be less elegant, but it will still basically work as long as we don't move, because this character controller was not designed for jumping onto moving platforms like this. But essentially, we can still rotate with the platform. As soon as it flips, it's going to start doing some weird stuff. So, yeah, it's going to do some weird stuff when it flips because this character is not designed for flipping around and stuff. Also, I'm pretty sure if we start moving on this platform after coming into contact with the trigger and becoming the child, then we stop being the child. It's not happening in the vertical, but in the horizontal, I believe. If we move around, we stop being the child of the platform. Quick update, because it didn't take long at all to figure out the solution to my issue with the first-person camera and the platform moving. Essentially, all I did was just make the trigger bigger for the moving platform to ensure that the entire character controller can stay inside the trigger at all times. Now, I can freely move around and rotate with the platform as needed. A nice and elegant and simple solution Once again, I hope you all got something out of this video. Please let me know if you have any questions. Animation is a big subject and a somewhat tricky subject to get into, depending on your skill set and interests in the field of game development. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching once again. I will see you in the next video.